My name is Edge Deathknell, and this is my girlfriend, Bloodstain. In this moment, I am euphoric. Euphoric with the waifus yet to be seduced. Euphoric with the normies yet to be purged. Euphoric with the epic gamer moments yet to be committed. Because it is not the size of one's heart that proves one's worth, it is the size of one's neckbeard. First thing I've got to do is sculpt my face like the work of art it is. Between the haircut literally called alpha male, the unkept stubble, and the acne scars, I think I did a pretty decent job. You may not like it, but this is what peak male performance looks like. Unfortunately, it seems I've already failed the challenge, as I have a wife, a kid, and a home with no waifu posters. Anyway, I assigned 7 points into luck because I must be the luckiest neckbeard in the world to have all that, 10 points into intelligence, obviously, and 7 points into endurance as my adipose tissue acts as natural armor. I then crack open my wife's coffin, not because I care about seeing her face one last time, but because her ring might buy me a few potato chips. Since I'm not allowed to wear the vault suit, I put it into a toolbox and take it back so it unequips, leaving me naked for the time being. You've already seen me get through Asmongold's buddies without attacking, so I won't bore you with the details. Just know that I got the first holotape game, Red Menace, and a pair of eyeglasses from the Overseer's desk. Leaving my natural environment of the damp, dark underground, I get blinded by the light, and then get assigned a bunch of random, meaningless quests because of the next-gen update. Like, who the hell is Pyro and why do I have to kill him? Anyway, I get a trench coat from a dead guy outside Sanctuary. Sanctuary is also where I craft my badass katana, Bloodstain. The Darkest Hour. Yeah, I had to use a mod for this, so you just assemble the sword from a few bits of steel and plastic at a chemistry station. It has a few different modifications, but since it already does decent damage already, I'll hold off on that for now. I do rename it Bloodstain for authenticity, of course. As you would expect, charging gun-toting maniacs with nothing but a sword and a dream isn't the best tactic, so I get cut down pretty quick. Next go-around goes a lot better as I sneak up on one guy to power attack him and get the other in VATS while he reloads. Before going into the museum, I search the speakeasy for some, chemical assistance in the form of some Excel and Day Tripper. Fitting, as this will be the first time I excel at anything besides making spreadsheets. The raiders, being the low-leveled, lightly armored foes they are, only take about 1 or 2 swings before being felled. It also helps that they're distracted trying to shoot Preston, so I can score some cheap shots on them. I then give Preston a certified gamer welcome.
Ah, damn it. What are you, crazy?
You owe me.
Before taking his Atomic Command game for myself. Side note, this game contains one of the few New Vegas references in Fallout 4, it's pretty neat. Getting down from the roof without breaking my ankles can be easily done by jumping onto a church, as much as it scorns me to do so. Besides Gristle, I let all the raiders get eaten by the Deathknell, and to my surprise, they whittled him down pretty effectively. It seems like my katana has some sort of major staggering effect, as every time I swat at the beast, it stumbles around like an idiot for a few moments. The scripted kill moves don't much care about whether it can fight back or not, though. Many reloads later, I unceremoniously put the beast down and go back to Preston for my reward, except some kooky old fart tries to rope me in with spiritual mumbo-jumbo.
I can feel your son's energy. He's alive.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Trust me, I will have my revenge. When I get back to Sanctuary, Preston isn't there right away, so I make a certified gamer chair and wait for his colonial ass. I also loot the root cellar and trade everything I don't need for some hard drugs. As usual, 10 Pines Bluff wants me to kill Pro Jared, but on the way I come across a random encounter I've never seen before. A Vault 81 resident enslaved by a gang of raiders. Whatever this Vault 81 place is, if it involves being cooped up with a bunch of socially awkward basement dwellers, count me in. For now, I focus on getting inside Corvega. That is, until I come across a grocery store with a veritable cornucopia of junk food inside. The ghouls are glass cannons in that they do a lot of damage, but also take a lot of damage and stagger quite easily. Using my hacking skills to turn on a Protectron definitely shifts the odds in my favor, letting me score several Nuka-Cola Quantums, a magazine, and a bunch of other goodies. After that helpful distraction, I invade the Corvega factory, and with a healthy application of Jet and the Nerd Rage perk, the first section isn't too bad. In the second section, I can once again activate a Protectron which not only distracts and thins out the raiders, but even kills their leader, completing the quest for me. I could just leave at this point, but instead I help myself to another Grognak comic and some more loot to sell. After that, escaping is just a matter of running my fat ass out of there, and now 10 Pines Bluff are on my side. It's here where I can craft my first noodle cup, aka ramen, which is from Japan, so it's automatically awesome. They restore 40 HP and don't give any radiation, making them quite handy to have. Now with the Aqua Boy perk, I stop by the quarry to fix some leaky connections for Garrus.
That's a ticket. You do the honors. Hit that switch on the end of the pump. That's done it. Just listen to her go.
And have to make Crab Rangoon in the process. Mirelurks take and do a lot of damage, sure, but as long as you block their attacks and stagger them, they're manageable. My next goal is to clear out Starlight for some more XP, and yeah, there are some rats and roaches, but nothing worth going over. This place does have a lot of junk food and even a Nuka-Cola Quantum though, so definitely worth coming here. Once I turn in the mission to Preston, however, something odd happens. He doesn't give me a new one. Yup, I don't know if it was because of the couch or what, but I just broke the Eternal Settlement curse. I'll make sure to enjoy it while it lasts. Anyway, I begin the journey to Vault 81, my spirit home, but have the feeling I'll need something to impress them. To that end, I go inside a cave under a gas station for a long-term nuclear battery. On the way, I come across a gang of oddly durable radroaches, each one of them taking multiple swings to squish. Maybe they found a stash of buff out, I don't know. I also find a poor guy who got crushed under a tree, never seen that before. In the vault, I try to convince them to let me in due to our basement-dwelling heritage, but they don't listen, so I do things the hard way. But the girl I'm giving these cores to is perfect. Yeah, the vault, right.
Hey, mister, are you really from the Commonwealth?
Go away, kid. You bother me.
Asshole.
Alright, let me just rearrange some things here.
Someone help!
Oh shit, they figured it out. Run, 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 run. Whew. Well, I better not go back there for a few days. Making it to Diamond City, I do the trick where you hit Piper and then sheath your weapon to avoid consequences. But she just walks straight through the door like it's nothing. What's even worse is that she stands at the front gate for 9 hours straight and takes my camera hostage while whining about free speech. While I may not have gotten the best welcome, I still do a good turn for the town by helping a Nuka-Cola addict get some sweet gamer nectar. Like in Vault 81, I drag all the junk food and soda I can find into a pile and steal it all, only this time I don't get caught. I also do Piper's interview, get Zeta invaders and even beat the first level, clean up the water for Caillou, buy some drugs and turn in some fern with Solomon, and search Becky Fallon's store for a battered fedora. She doesn't have the one I want though, so shame on her.
Now, I want everyone to hear these next words very carefully.
I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
Fun fact about the paint retrieval mission. If you wait long enough, one of the raiders will annoy the other so badly he'll get shot, making things a bit easier. Not like it matters, as I opt for sneaking around the back and slipping out unseen. I also grab a bloatfly gland from Sanctuary so I can complete 2 missions in one go. That just leaves one last side quest I like to do here, Diamond City Blues. I was curious and wanted to see what would happen if I set Paul's health to 1 when he gets beaten up. The result is this.
Don't hurt him, Henry! Yeah! Ah! Ah!
He's not a bad guy, really. Just a little uptight. Too bad he can't learn to relax, huh, Darcy?
Shut up, I don't come here to talk about Paul.
Next try, I do the quest the intended way. If by intended you mean killing everyone and taking everything in the bar that's not nailed down. Ironically, the drug dealers are defeated by the thing they love the most.
Ooh, that brother's floating in the air.
This nets me a decent sum of caps, but more importantly, an assload of chems I can combine for both XP and potent consumables. I also take a short stop in Backstreet Apparel for some more XP, loot, and to look for a fedora, but no luck. However, I know where I can obtain one and fulfill one of the stipulations of the challenge in one go. These pasty suburban socialites offer me a battered fedora for free, finally completing my look. Despite their friendly gesture, they turn out to be cult members, and not in the cheerful Mormon kind of way, more like the I'll shank you in the back alley and rob you kind of way. So, I do more good for the community than they ever have by putting them out of commission. Only you can start shithead fires. Swan's Pond nets me another Grognak magazine, and then it's right to Park Street Station to rescue old Nicky. While the Triggermen may wear fedoras, live underground, and eat junk food, they stand in my path, so for that, they must perish. Nick wears a fedora and trench coat just like me, so I can already tell we're going to be fast friends. The rest of the vault goes as normal, except for one lazybones I had to teach not to sleep on the job. As for Skinny and his crew, the time-honored strategy of overdosing on every drug known to man works once more. Sure, Darla breaks one of my arms with her bat and I almost die in the process, but it's the end result that matters, not the details. While I'm hesitant to find my son due to owing him 200 years of child support, I push on, viewing it as an excuse to get some exercise so I don't die of congestive heart failure at 32. For now, I have more important things to do, namely waltzing into a church and killing the Walking Dead reference living inside. I am a top poster on r/atheism after all. To add insult to injury, I rip Gabriel Stokes' vestments off his body and chop them up so nobody else can use them. Alright, back to finding my son, for now. Ellie gives me a fedora and trench coat for my good deeds, and while I appreciate the gesture, I humbly reject them due to having my own. Me and Nick then go up to Kellogg's house, good thing I pickpocketed the mayor earlier, and I find a veritable pantry of soda and snack foods inside. This is awesome! Oh yeah, evidence, crime scene, blah blah blah. Now I'm supposed to follow some dumb dog to the ass end of the Commonwealth, but on the way out I come across the All Faiths Chapel? Yeah, I'll tell you what faith I worship. Science.
Diamond City treating...
Security! No! Jeez.
Okay, maybe that wasn't the best idea. Run, 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 run. Just keep running, just keep running, just keep running, running, running. Whew. Well, I better not go back there for a few days. I think I'm sensing a pattern here. Speaking of which, now that enough time has passed, I can go back to Vault 81 to flex on some stupid children.
Did you ever fight a Deathclaw?
I did. with nothing more than a pool cue.
No way. Just a pool cue?
This earns me another Grognak comic, which I think is the only magazine you get as a quest reward in this game. I also listened to the teacher yap on about the goat, a conversation I've literally never heard before. Man, I need to pay more attention to these games. Anyway, I agree to find Aaron's pet cat and donate a sample of blood so caffeine and sodium heavy, it might as well be a biohazard. Side note, I love how when you tell the cat to go home, the voice actor sounds just as perplexed as the player.
Ashes, go home. Aaron misses you.
What also perplexed me is this invulnerable crow frozen in time, but that's besides the point. I get back to the vault to return as... Ugh. Okay, seriously, can weird shit stop happening already? I get back to the vault only to discover that Austin has a deadly case of ligma, and I need to go to a secret lab to cure it. As you'd expect, the mole rats down there don't pose much of a threat, except for a glowing one phasing out of this reality. I really gotta cut back on the Psycho Jet. After playing Pest Exterminator, I see... the one. The perfect one for me. An innocent robo-waifu with a cute French accent? Oh, how could I resist? So, can you set those manipulator claws to a more gentle torque threshold, or... never mind. After being bitten by the mole rats, I take the cure as my feeble immune system will probably leave me dead in a few days otherwise. This causes me to be shunned by the vault, but I don't rightly care. I got my French robo-waifu, and that's all I need. Out of curiosity, I wanted to see if I could put Austin out of his misery for calling me an asshole, only for him to slowly get up, stare at me, and then slowly go back to sleep. Alright, I've had enough of this vault's fuckery. I'm just gonna leave them for good. But not before sending Curie to Sanctuary. Once I get a robot workbench, I'm definitely giving her the body of an Assaultron. For combat effectiveness, of course. Speaking of Sanctuary, after letting the doc cure my chem addictions, I send Sheffield there as we both share an affinity for soft drinks. Since I'm a comic book nerd, I decide now it's time to finish collecting issues of Grognak, starting with Wicked Shipping. Just low-level ghouls here and a robot you can activate to annihilate them, so nothing worth mentioning. Next up is the Museum of Witchcraft, and on the way I pick up an issue of Total Hack from a cemetery. For some reason that eludes even me, I glitch into a building to clear out the old gullet sinkhole, which contains a glowing one. He gets me a few times, but with enough drugs and well-timed staggers, I snap his ass in half like a glow stick. This nets me a magazine that lets me swim 25% faster, which I suppose makes sense given that fat floats. I also stop by the slog to pick up some berry mentats ingredients when... a ghoul flirts with me.
Or were you here for the goods? I might be a ghoul, but I'm still all woman. So, what do you think?
I think you look pretty good.
Yeah? You're looking pretty damn fine yourself, stranger. Would you date a ghoul?
One day, maybe. I'm still getting over the loss of my wife.
I'm sorry. Do you want to talk about
I really don't.
How about I just quit while I'm ahead? I've done enough damage for one conversation. I'll, see you around.
Oh, god damn it, why do I always flub it like this? Oh well, I'm not dating a woman who reminds me of the beef jerky I eat. Getting the magazine I came all this way for is quite simple, as it's just outside the Deathclaw's aggro range, so I can just run like a pussy to avoid being disemboweled. Next issue is in a house near Andrew's Station, which is where I meet Absalom, who I think is supposed to be a spiritual successor to Sam Warwick from Fallout 3. Crazy, randomly encountered guy with sunglasses and a sniper rifle, you know? What's interesting is that when he dies, he says this, which makes me think he's some sort of dark reflection of the sole survivor who can load saves and... oh shit, was I fan theorizing again? Next up, I go to Watts Electronics for another issue of Total Hack, and since all the robots are turned off, it's a piece of cake. I then go back to Sanctuary to upgrade my bloodstain with genuine Nippon steel for vastly improved damage and bleeding. I also try to flirt with a girl named after the most prominent feature of my room, but she laughs and calls me a wise ass, so I think it's safe to say I failed. Again. Oh well, at least I still have you, Curie. Here, a flower, to show how our love is soon to blossom. As for Mama Murphy, I build her seat right next to my genuine gamer chair and pump her full of drugs until she gives me a prophecy that reduces Kellogg's damage by 25%. Very handy, as I happen to be going after the bastard right now. Since I have fuck all energy resistance and the synths can fire quite quickly, my best tactic is to get hopped up on drugs and strike them before they can retaliate, as long as the universe isn't vanishing and reassembling in front of me, that is. Combine this with some crits and hacking to turn the turrets off, and it goes pretty well, all things considered. Now to deal with the bald prick himself, and since I'm not much of a people person,
Fuck you.
this was only ever gonna end one way. Ah, that felt good. The guy who kidnapped my son is dead. Ooh, is that another Pip-Boy game? Wait, aren't I supposed to be looking for my son? Ah, screw it. Time to send some religious cultists back to Adam from whence they came. Ah, that felt good. But, even gooder than last time. To complement maxing out Leadbelly as a spit in the face to their religion, I get a magazine that makes all pre-war food and drink heal 50% more. Probably should have rushed to get this the first chance I had, huh? I also get 3 other magazines, one that increases damage at night, fitting considering I have a loose definition of the word bedtime, one that gives a discount at food vendors, making Takahashi's noodle bowls less costly, and one for me to give to Curie when we inevitably get married. I get back on track by giving Kellogg's gray matter to Nick, where he prompts me to go to some ghetto brain surgeon. Walking into the place, I get extorted, and since the only ones allowed to be extorted are my Discord kittens, I tell Finn to fuck off. He doesn't take my threat seriously though, so I have to tell him the hard way. I then see Cleo who, whoa, hot mama.
I'm a woman, baby. Can't you tell?
Oh, of course you are. It's just all those metal plates. You're a robot, right? A very womanly robot?
Was that a pickup line? I've heard better.
Damn it. I guess I'll try my luck at the bar and... Oh my. I think I actually found her this time. The one. My waifu.
You had that, I'm the smartest one here and I know it posture. There's something so irresistible about intelligence, don't you think?
I was wondering if we could get to know each other better.
It's tempting, but unfortunately I'm married to the stage.
Fuck all y'all, I'm stealing your soda. Now it's time for Kellogg's Memories, and I'ma be real, I just use STTM to speed up this section. After learning from Alvin and the Chipmunks that the Institute uses teleportation, I pick up another holotape game, and a quest from Rufus to get a beer bot for him. I don't intend on completing this quest, I just wanted the map marker for Shamrock Tap House, as the final issue of Total Hack is found there. With that out of the way, I make tracks to the Glowing Sea, making some Protectron friends fight a Deathknell for me in the process. And then the Brotherhood show up but are hostile to me for some reason, and I just leave that clusterfuck behind before I get riddled with holes. Since Rad-X stacks, the radiation of the Glowing Sea is pretty manageable, and because I've walked through it so many times, I can avoid all the enemies out of instinct. But you know who I'm not gonna avoid? The gang of cultist freaks living here. From a note on the leader's body, I can deduce a location of Virgin's man cave. Outside is a Deathknell, but since I can stagger enemies so often, they're really no threat to me anymore. The important part is, Virgin spills the beans on where to find a courser, and I pump Murphy with more drugs so I can get his UNATCO kill phrase, which may come in handy later. I also make a Nuka mixer machine, which, like the Wasteland Survival Guide, I should have done much earlier. Simply combining Nuka-Cola with cherry or dirty water makes beverages that restore hundreds of HP. It's OP as hell. Now, how do I deal with green tech genetics? I do the same thing I always do. I considered using the kill phrase to skip the Courser fight, but then again, I can't let Bloodstain go too long without a nice bath, can I? Okay, maybe she went a little overboard. That's neither here nor there, as now I have to get the Courser chip decoded, and I know just the semi-religious nutjobs who can do it. Hey, they live under a church, have members called Glory and Drummer Boy, and even have a deacon, who kinda looks like Sarcastic Bro now that I think about it. Can you blame me for judging them? Hey, at least Alvin comes in clutch at the end. Now with the chip in hand, I finalize my revenge on Mama Murphy by giving her hard drugs until her little hippie heart gives out. I then discover something glorious. All the members of Sanctuary follow the bitch's corpse like vultures feasting after carrion. I try to use her rotting hide as bait to trap them in a cage, but they don't fall for it, so I settle for making a proper tomb instead. Ah, perfect. Alright, time to get myself beamed into the Institute once and for all. Although, with the amount of mass they have to beam, it might cause a bit of lag. Now that I'm here, I check the place out only to realize it's a community of isolated, socially awkward basement dwellers who eat nothing but packaged food, stuff their faces in terminals all day, manufacture robo-waifus, and want to wipe out all the normies. Gee, this place sounds right up my alley. First task I'm given is to meet who I'll be working with. Boring electrician, murderbot ringleader.
Our main instrument is the Courser. I'd very much like to know how you defeated it.
I'm no stranger to combat.
Bitch, and boring plant nerd. All done. Next up is recovering a rogue synth from Libertalia. Like usual, drugs and my katana's high stagger rate make short work of the raiders. Starting to sound like a broken record, but that's just how most combat is going at this point. There are some funny moments, like this guy just accepting death, some glitchy nonsense, and one of the raiders committing sewer slide, but other than that, it's a pretty simple mission.
I know your UNATCO kill phrase. The Putin machine.
I am not a machine.
Sticks and stones.
Father then sends me to recover some more synths at Bunker Hill, and for the outside section, I just run past to save time. Inside, though, I have to fight my way through, but the Railroad and Brotherhood are so distracted fighting each other, they don't notice the pale 300-pound incel barreling towards them. With all the synths back where they should be, Father breaks his basement-dwelling streak by touching grass, or at least sheet metal, by going outside to tell me how much everything sucks. He then calls me down for a meeting, but... you know, I got holotape games to play, so...
It's somewhat embarrassing to attempt to name you as my successor when you can't even be bothered to stay at the meeting.
I'm a busy guy. Had things to do.
I cannot imagine what could be more important at this point.
Gosh, sorry. You may have noticed I never did the Railroad's quest, despite the battered fedora being able to support ballistic weave. This is because I wanted to showcase a quest I don't think many people know about, plugging a leak. You can only start it if you didn't complete Tradecraft, so it's no wonder why many people miss it. Long story short, someone is leaking synths up to the surface, and I have to find out who it is. A peek at a terminal later implicates the Benets, so I confront Liam and then look through his terminal to find out where the hacking is coming from. I also see Alan's robot wife Eve, but... yeah, they must have copied Sean's DNA sequence a bit too much, because she looks like she gave herself a facial with a microwave oven. Luckily, she tries to kill me when I confront her, so I don't have to look at her face any longer.
I can't let you tell Dr. Ao that Liam is responsible for this.
To get the item I'm doing this quest for, you have to ask Liam for a reward and then side with him by framing Justin Ao. You then get Liam's glasses, which increase intelligence by 2 but decrease charisma by 1, which is definitely the most fitting piece of apparel I could have. Speaking of apparel, I go back to the Railroad to get ballistic weave from them.
We've heard some very disturbing things about you. That you've been to the Institute. That you're actually working with those monsters. You're lucky we don't shoot you on sight.
But I want to help you guys.
Far too little, far too late. There's no way we can trust you now. Get the hell out of here, and don't come back.
Okay. Fuck you then. I go back to the Institute to do one last side quest for them, helping Neil deGrasse Tyson solve a little immunity in bioscience. Since my charisma is so low, peace was never an option, so I just return Higgs and Loken back to Monkey. Next, it's time for mass fusion, and since I don't have a ranged weapon, I can't fight the elevator sequence. So I do the old trick of drugging up and flinging yourself off the side of the building into Good Neighbor, where you can run to the elevator mostly unimpeded and quickly grab the agitator. As I have robotics expert, I can just switch off all the robots and chop them up with ease. I would have assisted the Institute in the lobby, but I like my skin to not be particulate matter, thank you very much. But before fully liberating the Commonwealth, I've been hearing rumors of an organized militaristic sect of the Children of Adam living in Far Harbor. I think it's about time I put a stop to them for good.
The only thing I'm ready for is danger and awesome.
Pew, pew, pew!
Since I already discovered the Museum of Witchcraft, it's only a short hike to reach Far Harbor. On the way, I see some raiders extorting farmers, so I enter badass enemy protagonist slow motion and cut them all down, saving the farmers' lives. Well, one of them got a Molotov off, but I did my best, okay? Some Japanese folks sent me to look for their daughter, and while I would have discussed anime with them, I have more important fish to fry. Before going all crusade on the children, I figure it's best to get the lay of the land, so I hire old Longfellow to guide me through the fog. Also, fun fact, you can find a bowl of ground mole rat that is the only one that exists in the game. On the way, I come across one of the rat eaters, so you know what I had to do to him. Using my hacking skills, I can deduce that Dima's memories, containing death projections for the island, are in the hands of the children. Something tells me it might contain a way to shut down these heretics permanently, so I head there right away, only to see they're doing my job for me by wiping each other out. Makes this next part easier. As for the robots protecting Dima's memories, I can just use Jet and Robotics Expert to shut them down before they have a chance to harm me. Luckily, since all I need is the nuclear launch key, I only have to do 2 of the boring-ass memory quests. The Harbor Grand Hotel is full of basic super mutants, so nothing I can't handle with a bit of effort. But hey, I do find some Vim soda. Let's see how it oh god. Yeah, I think I'll stick to Nuka-Cola. With the nuclear launch key in hand, all I need to do now is head back, and all the Children of Adam have respawned. Great. Some Jet and Rad-X allows me to run through before being microwaved, and I managed to get the key inserted. Also, I love how when you check this quest in your Pip-Boy, your character just breaks the fourth wall. Finally, the Children of Adam are returned to the nuclear fire of their afterlife, cleansed and scoured into ash. In this moment, I am euphoric. The people of Far Harbor seem to be bipolar with their praise, however.
Hero of the hour. Wiped out all the Children of Adam. If you need anything from my shop, you let me know.
How's it going?
Whatever.
But before leaving, there's one last thing I ought to do. I go to Cliff's Edge Hotel and cut my way through all the ghouls there, where I find a Berserker super sledge. Considering my outfit provides barely any armor, this would have been amazing if I didn't have a weapon restriction. By this point, ghouls are basically free EXP, as Barry Mentats highlights them even when they're sleeping, and I can kill most of them in 1 to 3 hits. The hotel leads to an underground vault full of robots who want me to solve a murder, but no, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for some, dome.
I haven't seen someone with a body like that in far too long.
You're not so bad yourself.
You should have seen me before all this. Red hair that was the envy of every girl and legs for days, darling.
I must say, you're quite the actress.
What can I say? It just comes.
Why don't we grab a bottle of wine and go watch the sunset?
You're sweet, detective. But it wouldn't be fair to Keith. Surely you must be here.
Better luck next time, I guess. Alright, back to doing the Institute's dirty work. They want me to kidnap some nerd to help with their reactor, but he hired some mercs for backup. Like a true anime protagonist, I slow down time and slice all of them up before they can react. Again, due to my poor riz, the Institute has to send a robot to knock the nerd out. For the crime of not listening to me, I sentence him to death and then throw him down the stairs. But when I get back to the Institute... this guy must have 10 endurance or something. Anyway, I put a thingy into a thingy and turn on the thingy, and all of that basically equates to a good thing. The railroad is the last loose end Father wants me to tie up, but considering I already derailed them, we can move straight on to blowing up the techno cult. I mean, they have paladins, so that's close enough to religious for my rabidly atheist mind. Again, while I still take a lot of damage and get my limbs crippled easily, as soon as I get someone in a stagger lock, they're pretty much done for. Since it's the end of the game, I go balls to the wall, using all the drugs and consumables I have willy-nilly to stay alive. The synths do a decent job of defending the tower while I clean up on the ground floor. That is, until I get addicted to almost everything, get all my limbs crippled with no way to heal them, and run out of healing items. Completely. Yep, I have to abandon the climactic final battle to go to Diamond City, just so I can buy and steal some more soda and junk food. Not the ending I was hoping for, but whatever works. With 67 bowls of ramen in my pockets, I turn Elder Maxon into scrap metal and watch as Liberty Prime Hindenburg's The Brotherhood, finishing the game and proving that yes, you can beat Fallout 4 as a neckbeard. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to not miss similar content in the future. If you didn't enjoy the video, dislike and give constructive criticism so I can improve. Leave your ideas for new videos in the comments. I do read them and put them at the end of each video. You can also support my Patreon or become a channel member to get shouted out and make your video suggestions more likely to become reality. Check me out on Discord or Reddit using the links in the description, or check out my second channel, The Loophole, where I post everything that doesn't fit here. This is Causal Loop, signing off. Peace.